everyone, my name is Kim and I'm from Lamp Early On. So today we will be making Vietnamese spring rolls or gỏi cuốn. So Vietnamese spring rolls is a pretty traditional summer dish that can be eaten anywhere, prepared at any time. I made it with my mom when I was a very small little child. So hopefully I can share this recipe with you and you guys can make it with your family as well. So before we begin, we're going to clean our surface and wash our hands. So let's get started. I washed our countertop off camera, so now we're going to wash our hands together. We're going to sing ABC or Twinkle Twinkle just because it's a 20-second long song. I'm sure there are hand washing songs out there, but this is just the easiest. So we're going to wet our hands, grab some soap, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now I know my ABCs. Next time, won't you sing with me? All right, go ahead, wash off all of our soap on our hands. And we are ready to cook. All right, so now that our hands are clean, we're gonna have to wash our vegetables too. Your little one can help you with this. They love playing with water, so they can help you wash all the vegetables. So today we have, I bought red green lettuce, cucumber, radicchio, yellow pepper, and red pepper. You can use whatever vegetables you have in your fridge. And it doesn't have to be this much either. I just bought all this just to show you the possibilities that you can have. But traditionally, Vietnamese spring rolls or gỏi cuốn only has lettuce, cucumber, and carrots. But I am going to take all this off, and we are going to wash. So, cold water. And wash, wash, wash. Let's make sure all our veggies are clean, just like we did our hands. All right. I bet you your little one is gonna love helping you with this. I know I did when I was helping my mom. All right, so I'm gonna wash it a few more times and then we are ready to prep the vegetables. All right, so the next sauce that we are making is another traditional one. It's peanut butter sauce. But because I know a lot of people have nut allergies, and also we are in a place where it's supposed to be nut free, I got Wow butter. So it is nut free. I believe it's nut and tree nut free, and it's also gluten free. But if you don't have that, some other really good alternatives are sunflower butter. So they are peanut, tree nut, and soy free, as well as it contains less sugar. Almond butter you can use, but just be really cautious because some of the manufacturers that make almond butter also make peanut butter, so there might be cross-contamination, so just be careful of that. But for today, we are using Wow butter. We will also be using hoisin sauce. Hoisin sauce does contain soy, so if you want an alternative to hoisin sauce, I know there is a website, I will link it in the description, that contains stuff that you can use as an alternative to hoisin sauce. I know one of them was just straight up garlic and prunes that I think you cook and whip together. So yeah, again, be very cautious if you do have dietary restrictions, just to read the labels. Again, hoisin sauce is made out of fermented soybeans. And again, depending on the brand that you use, they might add gluten in there as well. So just be cautious of that. I'm putting it in a saucepan just because we do need to boil this a little bit. So we are going to use, grab another spoon. We're going to use about 3 heaping spoons of hoisin sauce, or whatever alternative you use. This sauce is vegetarian friendly, which is good. And then, because this has hoisin sauce all over it, I'm gonna get another spoon.
Could you contact the office, please?
And I'm gonna put 1 heaping spoonful of our wow butter. Get the spoon out. So let's add our splash of lime juice. The lime juice really helps to cut the butteriness of our wow butter. And then you're going to be using the equal amounts of water to your hoisin sauce. So 1, 2, 3, a little bit more splash. Alright, so we're going to mix it all up. To be quite honest, this is probably my favorite sauce that goes with our spring rolls, because it's buttery from whichever peanut butter or wow butter that you use. It's a little bit sweet from the hoisin sauce, a little sour from the lime juice, and it's nice and creamy. So now that it's mixed, we are gonna go to the oven, to the stove I mean, and we are going to boil it. So I will be right back. Alright, so I took the sauce out of the stove, and so when you're boiling it, you want it to become nice and homogeneous, but also this type of thickness, where it's a little thick, but it's still runny. So once your sauce cools down, you can give it a taste, see if you need a little bit more lime or maybe a little bit more peanut butter. If you want it a little bit more sweet, you add the hoisin sauce or your hoisin alternative. So again, all of the sauces that we made, you can make the day before and then leave it in your fridge. If you want a thicker sauce, I recommend you putting this in your fridge overnight. It will thicken during the night. But yeah, so we are ready to go. We are going to make 3 different types of spring rolls. We are going to make a vegan one, and then we're going to make one that has shrimp, and then we will be making one that has chicken in it. Growing up, usually we would also have it with pork belly. So if you boil the pork belly and then cut up the meat very, very thin, the way we ate it was pork belly with shrimp. But there's so many different ways that you can make these spring rolls to taste, to have it with your family's taste buds. But yeah, let's get started by prepping our clean vegetables. So our sauces are done and they are chilling in the fridge. While we do that, let's prep our vegetables for our spring rolls. So we already cleaned them. Now we're gonna cut them up. If you have any soft vegetables, or if you're using broccoli or cauliflower, you can have your little one rip up the broccoli or cauliflower. Or if you were using the radicchio, then you can have your little one rip up the radicchio or the lettuce as well. So let's start cutting. And again, you can prep the vegetables in advance the night before, so that gives you less work to do in the morning. You're gonna want them nice and thin like this, so that when you go and you wrap, you're not cutting, you're not ripping up the rice paper. So let's cut nice and thin. Hopefully your knife is sharper than this one. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna keep cutting it like this. I have some scallions too, if you want. Or not scallions, green onions. So a little bit, nice and thin. We have all the colors of the rainbow. We're not gonna shred up the lettuce. You want the lettuce actually nice and whole. So just keep that in mind when you're cutting and washing them. But you do want to shred up the radicchio nice and thin. So a little bit, nice and thin. I'm gonna put all the ones that I've actually cut on this side. Or if you want, you can get your little one to just rip it up. And actually that's what I might do. Just to rip it up. So your little one can be involved in this. And then for the cucumber, you are gonna want to slice them again nice and thin. But you also want it about finger's length. So like this. And then cut it in half just to make it easier for me to cut. And then we cut. Knife is so dull. There we go. Okay, so once you have everything cut and ready to go, we can assemble. I'm gonna keep cutting all the vegetables off camera. But yeah, we are gonna start wrapping. No, stop doing that. So our sauces are done and they are chilling in the fridge. While we do that, let's prep our vegetables for our spring rolls. So we already cleaned them. Now we're gonna cut them up. If you have any soft vegetables, or if you're using broccoli or cauliflower, you can have your little one rip up the broccoli or cauliflower. Or if you were using the radicchio, then you can have your little one rip up the radicchio or the lettuce as well. So let's start cutting. And again, you can prep the vegetables in advance the night before, so that gives you less work to do in the morning. You're gonna want them nice and thin like this, so that when you go and you wrap, you're not cutting, you're not ripping up the rice paper. So let's cut nice and thin. Hopefully your knife is sharper than this one. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna keep cutting it like this. I have some scallions too, if you want. Or not scallions, green onions. So a little bit, nice and thin. We have all the colors of the rainbow. We're not gonna shred up the lettuce. You want the lettuce actually nice and whole. So just keep that in mind when you're cutting and washing them. But you do want to shred up the radicchio nice and thin. So a little bit, nice and thin. I'm gonna put all the ones that I've actually cut on this side. Or if you want, you can get your little one to just rip it up. And Actually, that's what I might do. Just to rip it up. So, your little one can be involved in this. And then, for the cucumber, you are going to want to slice them, again, nice and thin. But you also want it about finger's length. So, like this. And then cut it in half just to make it easier for me to cut. And then we cut. Knife is so dull. There we go. Okay, so once you have everything cut and ready to go, we can assemble. I'm gonna keep cutting all the vegetables off. Now that we've made our sauces and they are chilling in the fridge, we can assemble our roll. So I have on this plate our beautiful vegetables that we cut up. I've added rice noodles that I made the night before as well as our matchsticks carrots. So we have our rice paper here. I know on the directions of some of them, they say to soak it in water for about 15 seconds to a minute, but personally that's too long because you just want to dunk it in the water and then put it on your plate right away, because it will soften even more as you continue to work with it. And if it softens too much, then your rice paper will rip. In this bowl, I have just plain old water. It doesn't have to be hot or cold, it can just be room temperature. So the temperature of the water does not matter. So we're going to dunk our rice paper in evenly, shake out the excess, and put it on our plate. So now what I like to do for our vegan rolls is to place the lettuce on first, and be careful of overstuffing your rolls. Again, if you overstuff it, then your rice paper will rip. And this is a great activity for you and your little ones to do because then they get to work on their fine motor skills. I know when I first started rolling my first spring rolls when I was about 3, they were horrible. They were falling apart. Like I had to use like a spoon and a fork just to eat it because it was everywhere. But the more I did it, the more I got used to it. So I'm just putting in all the vegetables, but a little bit at a time. Actually, I'm gonna do this like this. And now when you wrap it, you wanna wrap it tight, almost like a burrito. So what I'm gonna do, so see how the rice paper is now really, really soft. Oh, I forgot the carrots. So you wrap it nice and tight once, but you don't want it too tight, or else again you'll rip the rice paper. And then you fold the edges over. Careful not to overstuff it like I just did, because now I can't fold this side. But what we traditionally do is we grab a onion. This is a little long, so I'm gonna split it in half. And we just stick it in there like this, and we have the little green out. And then you continue wrapping. And you have your roll. You can cut it in half if you want, if it's too big for your little one. But this is the vegetarian or vegan roll. And then next we're gonna be doing our shrimp and our chicken one. Our next roll will be shredded chicken. The night before I went and I broiled the chicken just in some water and salt and pepper, nothing too fancy. The roll itself is not very flavorful. The flavor actually comes from the sauces that we made, but it's nice and cool to touch, so you and your little one can go ahead and shred up the chicken. I just use chicken breast. If you have chicken left over from the night before, you can go ahead and shred that up too. Really up to you. Whatever chicken you have at home, doesn't matter, just because it's going to go into small pieces anyways. All right. So once it is nice and shredded up, I'm just gonna wash my hands one more time, and then we can assemble our chicken roll. Nice and thin pieces. Oops. Some got onto the cutting board, it's okay. This is a great activity to do with your little one, like I mentioned before. Shredding up the chicken can work on their fine motor skills and their pincer grips, especially if they're younger. If they're younger, you're going to notice that they're going to grip the chicken with the palm of their hand, and then they're going to try to rip it with their whole hand. As they get older, they're going to start using their fingertips to start shredding it. So cooking is a great way to work on their fine motor skills, as well as their hand-eye coordination, and language. If you want to talk about the recipe, talk about what you are putting in it. I'm going to actually rip this up a little bit more. Alright, so I'm going to wash my hands one more time, and then we are going to assemble the chicken. Okay, so you're going to do the exact same thing as you did with the vegan rolls. We're going to dip our rice paper in, take off the excess water, and now I've learned my mistake from the last one, so I'm going to put just a little bit less. I like to tilt it to the side like this so that I can roll outwards. It's just easier for me. A little bit of noodles, some cucumber, the radicchio, and I love the colors of the radicchio, nice and purple. We're gonna put 1 and 2, a little bit of carrots, some chicken, and a little bit more. I'm gonna roll it up nice and tight. See, so much better already. So wrap one end, wrap the other end, wrap one more, grab my spring onion. Again, these are all suggestions, whatever you guys have at home. This is great to do with your little one because they can choose what vegetables or meat or protein they want to have in it. And then that way it helps with picky eaters because now they know what they're putting into their tummies. But this is the chicken one, and now we're going to wrap our shrimp one. I prepared the shrimps the night before, so I boiled the shrimp as well in water and a little bit of salt. Again, nothing too fancy. And then I de-shelled and deveined them. So some of the shrimp is actually a little thick. So what you're going to do is you're gonna cut them in half, but you're gonna cut them in half this way. So, especially if you're using jumbo shrimp, you're gonna wanna cut them in half because if they're too thick, then again, they're gonna rip your rice paper. But just like this. I don't know if you see it on camera or not, but so we are going to cut the shrimp. Obviously your little one cannot do this part, so this can be done the night before as well. All right, and now let's assemble our shrimp. All right, so the last wrap that we are doing is our shrimp wrap. Again, I have my rice paper, dunk it really quick in water, take off the excess. And now wrapping the shrimp one, if you want, is gonna be a little bit different. So it starts the same. We take the lettuce. This might be a lot of lettuce. There we go. A little bit of the noodles. Turn it this way. Some cucumbers, yummy, yummy cucumbers. Our radicchio. I'm gonna put just one red pepper in this time. And then what I'm going to do is with the shrimp, with this side down, we are going to place it just so. When I was a kid, I never knew how my mom could make the wraps so pretty, the shrimp ones. But now as I'm a little bit older, she's told me her secrets. So we are going to, again, just like a burrito, wrap it tight, but gentle because you don't want to rip the paper. Edge of one side, edge of the other side. Make sure the shrimps are in place, and then you roll it on top. So your wrap looks like that. All right, so we have now completed 3 different types of rolls. We have our vegan vegetarian roll, our chicken one, and our shrimp. Really happy that you guys joined me today in making the Vietnamese spring rolls. I have fond memories of making them with my family as a child, so I really hope that you guys can make new memories with them as well. Traditionally what we do, or at least in my household, was that my mom or my dad, whoever was prepping the vegetables, would actually have all the vegetables on a plate, and then at dinner time what we would do was we would assemble our wraps and just eat it straight. So you can do it that way. You can prepare them in advance. If you make extras, they do keep in the fridge for about 2 days max, and then otherwise the rice paper gets too soggy. The vegetables start to wilt as well. But yeah, it's a great way to introduce your little ones to a variety of vegetables and protein. Even in the vegan vegetarian one, you can put tofu if you don't have any soy allergies. If you're vegetarian, you can put egg in it, or you can put beans as well. So a variety of ways to have your little one eat their daily nutrition. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. Take pictures of what you guys create at home. We would love to see what you guys create. Bye!